You know, when I'm sitting down with corporate leaders and executives these days, I keep hearing the exact same question over and over again. Is workplace safety just a regulatory burden? You know, a compliance checklist we just have to grit our teeth and get through? Or is it actually your most untapped profit center?
It really is the ultimate dilemma for the C-suite, isn't it? But here's the thing, David.
The data already has the answer. Over the last 5 years, empirical research has proven definitively that safety has evolved way beyond basic OSHA compliance. It's actually become one of the absolute strongest drivers of corporate sustainability, operational resilience, and yes, pure profitability.
Welcome to today's Explainer. I'm David, your management strategist, and my focus is translating these complex operational risks into real, actionable boardroom realities.
And I'm Emma, your data analyst. I'm going to be grounding our entire discussion in the empirical evidence today. We'll be diving into the hard numbers, the return on assets, and the cutting-edge algorithmic models that are totally reshaping industry standards as we approach 2027.
Exactly. So today, we're delivering a highly strategic briefing designed specifically for CEOs, executives, and VPs of safety. We're going to show you exactly how safety has transformed into a core financial mechanism. Let's get right into it.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. First up, safety, cost or profit. Then we'll look at the shift when standards became actual money, followed by the ESG and disclosure wave. After that, we'll forecast the 2027 landscape with AI and supply chains. Finally, we'll wrap up with how you can lead the safety ecosystem, plus a quick look at our data sources.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Safety, Cost, or Profit, moving beyond the compliance checklist.
For decades, the traditional corporate mindset treated occupational health and safety, or OHS, as a total capital drain, right? It was viewed as this administrative necessity, a cost center, siloed away in HR, handled locally, and honestly only brought to the boardroom when something went terribly wrong. But that reactive paradigm is completely dead. To prove it, we analyzed 13 critical keywords across 12 major global research papers from recent years. Just look at this shift. Back in 2022, the whole conversation was dominated by standards and reporting. Think GRI 403 frameworks. It was all about how to record data. But then, wow, by 2024, the academic and corporate focus pivoted sharply to financial and market value. By 2025, we saw this massive spike in terms like safety disclosure and risk management. And now, in 2026, safety is fully integrated as the foundational social pillar of ESG. We've officially moved from just tracking accidents to recognizing safety as actual, quantifiable financial value.
Which brings us to Section 2, when standards became money, the 2022 to 2024 empirical shift.
So, around 2024, the narrative entirely flipped. The C-suite essentially stopped asking how much does this cost and started asking, wait, how did these safety certifications actually impact our bottom line? And we have the empirical data to answer that. Extensive event studies, pulling data from Italy to Southern Africa, took a hard look at listed companies that adopted the ISO 45001 global safety standard. And the results, uncontestable. Compared to their uncertified competitors, ISO 45001 listed companies achieved a significantly higher return on assets, or ROA. They demonstrated enhanced productivity, far less operational downtime, and, interestingly, even higher customer loyalty. The data makes it crystal clear. Safety investments optimize your operations and convert directly into higher profitability.
To put that into perspective, studies show that adopting a structured standard like ISO 45001 leads to, on average, a massive 32% reduction in workplace injuries. We refer to this as the safety dividend. I mean, fewer injuries literally means slashing worker compensation costs, avoiding operational interruptions, and fundamentally protecting your profit margins.
Moving right along to Section 3, the ESG and disclosure wave, the 2025 to 2026 regulatory collision. Okay, so we've established that safety pays, but in 2025, the rules of the game changed completely. Governments and financial markets basically collided. Almost overnight, safety incidents went from being localized operational hiccups to immediate, massive financial and reputational threats for the parent company. A prime example is South Korea's Serious Accidents Punishment Act, or SAPA. Under these new financial regulations, listed companies are hit with a mandatory same-day public disclosure rule on the Korea Exchange if a serious accident happens. There is absolutely no hiding it. You have to publicly release an incident brief and detail your immediate response that exact same day. And the fallout?
rating agencies instantly downgrade your ESG score. And banks are now directly tying these accident histories to corporate credit ratings and loan reviews. Safety is no longer just an HR issue, guys. It is a critical financial metric that CFOs are directly managing.
Hit the nail on the head, Emma. Safety is credit. That is the absolute reality of 2026. A rock-solid safety framework is literally a market shield. The data proves that companies with high ESG and safety scores experience significantly less stock devaluation during a crisis than companies with a core safety culture. Basically, the market trusts that you have the governance in place to actually fix the problem.
Let's look ahead. Section 4. 2027. AI and supply chains. Predictive safety management.
If 2025 was all about reactive disclosure, 2027 is going to be defined by proactive prediction. The future of safety management is going to be completely dominated by AI-driven predictive models and absolute radical supply chain transparency. One of the absolute game changers highlighted in the MDPI literature is this shift toward algorithmic risk assessment, specifically models like the Weighted Composite Score, or WCS. You see, traditional safety matrices, they just multiply the severity of a hazard by its probability. Pretty basic. But AI models utilizing the WCS algorithm analyze huge amounts of contextual data to proactively predict vulnerabilities before an incident ever happens.
Yeah, let's really look at the variables in this formula for a second. Sure, we still have severity and probability, but now AI is factoring in the frequency of exposure, the exact number of people exposed, your organization's actual response capacity, and your entire incident history. For a CEO, think about what this means. Your AI systems are going to flag a specific factory floor or even a specific contractor as a high-risk liability days, maybe weeks before an accident occurs, just because the algorithm caught a slight dip in your response capacity. It's literally precision forecasting for human lives and corporate liability. Absolutely incredible.
And you might be wondering, why is that level of AI prediction so absolutely crucial? Well, it comes down to your supply chain. We only have to look back at the 2010 Deepwater Horizon disaster. 11 lives lost and the largest marine oil spill in history. But here's the detail people forget. Out of the 126 crew members on that rig, only 7 were actually BP employees. The rest? Subcontractors. The safety failure of an outsourced contractor completely devastated the parent company's brand and financial standing. The lesson here is simple, folks. You cannot outsource your safety liability.
Exactly. And that is exactly why, as we gear up for 2027, seamless data integration across your entire supply chain isn't just a nice-to-have, it's essential for corporate survival. Companies are going to be using AI to aggressively vet suppliers, mandating that contractors share their safety compliance and OSHA data with total transparency. Moving forward, you won't just be judged on your internal safety culture, but on the safety culture of the weakest link in your entire outsourced network.
Which brings us to Section 5. Leading the safety ecosystem, the executive mandate.
So as we wrap up this strategic briefing, the question is, how do you, as an executive or a board member, actually synthesize this data into actionable leadership? Well, it requires a complete paradigm shift. The old paradigm treated safety as a reactive, siloed compliance burden, a pure cost center. But the 2027 blueprint, it recognizes safety as a predictive driver of real value creation.
For sure. The organizations that are going to absolutely dominate in 2027 are the ones where safety is championed directly by the C-suite. They're going to be the ones utilizing AI to predict risks, demanding transparent disclosures across their entire supply chain, and leveraging global safety certifications to secure cheaper capital and outperform the market.
Because the empirical data is clear. Safety is no longer just about compliance. It is the ultimate stress test of your corporate governance and sustainability. So, we'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Is your organization truly prepared to lead the 2027 safety ecosystem? Are you still just checking OSHA boxes, or are you actively integrating AI models and transparent supply chain-wide disclosures into your core corporate strategy today? The choices you make right now will absolutely define your profitability tomorrow.
Finally, Section 6. Data sources. The empirical foundation.
To ensure absolute empirical rigor, the strategies and data points we've discussed in today's explainer were drawn from a comprehensive review of 12 major global research papers up to 2026. We want to acknowledge these key academic and industry sources, from the event studies on ROA, to the MDPI frameworks on AI predictive modeling, to the critical insights on supply chain risk. Thank you so much for joining us for this strategic briefing. Stay safe and stay ahead of the curve.